All right. We are officially live. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Dev Office Hours. I hope you can all see my screen. All right, perfect. How you doing, Ramses? You doing good? All right, good. That's a good thumbs up. All right. All right, perfect. Let's get going. So, yeah, as always, we're going to start with some marketing/ecosystem updates. So we do have a new blog called "Your Work Protected by Law, Monetized in Minutes." So let's go ahead and check this out. I'll actually send this link in the chat as well. Also, what's up, Razor? It's good to see you. I know you've been trying to join the past couple weeks, so it's great to finally have you here. So this blog is basically all about how IP is actually enforced in courts, and also how you can monetize your IP. So yeah, so definitely check out this blog. It's pretty cool. You can see here, we'll read the TLDR together. IP is valuable and in high demand, especially for AI. Most creators miss out due to weak or no licensing. Story offers a free industry-grade IP license, which is called the PIL, for everyone. The PIL is a Web3 backed legal contract for IP monetization. Right, here's the PIL. And then lastly, use the PIL to license your IP on Story's IP portal. So obviously, we all know what the PIL is here. I know we've talked about it very much. But yeah, this is a great article to learn more about that. So definitely recommend checking that out. Next up on the list here is contributing to emergency stories. So pretty cool. We can watch this video together. Let's go ahead and do that. So basically, Emergence, which I know we all know as well, is basically like this community-built story that started by David Goyer, the screenwriter of the Dark Knight trilogy, and this allows people to basically come up with their own sort of like contributions to the story. So you can add characters, whatever other pieces of lore to the story, and the top contributions will actually be reviewed directly by David Goyer to be officially added into the story. So just an overall pretty cool update from Emergence, and yeah, you can play around with it. So that is pretty awesome, and yeah, we can actually see that right here if we go to the terminal here. So you can go right to this link. So I'll send that link in the chat as well. Gonna have to set up the on IP stuff. Major thing for them. So we got Azuki and Emergence, huh? Oh, I don't know what that means. Do you think Japanese? Yeah, I mean, I could add Japanese translation to the docs if you think that'd be helpful. Definitely could do that. Oh, also, I know that everyone's always excited to hear about Maroon 5. Or sorry, the Aria lineup. This week we have Maroon 5 joining. So welcome Maroon 5. They are, their song Lost. Actually, let's listen to this together. Funny story. One time during office hours, that's a funny screenshot. One time during office hours, I actually played the Jonas Brothers song for all of you guys in office hours, and my YouTube live stream got demonetized because I was playing that song, which is super ironic given our motto here at Story. The demonetization, IP law, whatever bullshit. So I thought that was really funny, actually. But let's just go for it, right? Let's see if they demonetize us again. Let's see if you can all hear it. No connection, no faith or direction. No. Can you hear it? Searching for someone to save my soul. Oh. Can you hear it? Here.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Is there a Pepe dance emote? Yeah, so that's in the new Aria lineup. So, all right. Oh, that's the classic Trump YMCA dance. That's funny. Okay, awesome. So yeah,
City.
what do you say, Robert?
Nothing. Sorry, my mic was on.
Aria's
I was
going in.
thinking that sounds like that song that goes, run, 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 run. Do you know that one?
No, I don't. Shit.
When I was a young boy living in the city, all I did was run, 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 run. It's too low for me.
Shit, I haven't heard that. Aria's going insanely fast. Yeah, they definitely are. It's great. So next up, so we have some ecosystem updates. We have Aria Protocol launching their points program. We have Story Hunt crossing $100 million plus in volume, which is really cool, and the Surreal World Assets Buildathon. So cool stuff happening there. And then obviously the Buildathon. I know all of you know about it, so I'll skip that slide. We have some developer updates. The TypeScript SDK v1.3.1 is officially released. Last week it wasn't released yet, so now it is. You can view all of the updates here. It's also live on our documentation. There's a new batch register IP assets function. There's a get license and config function, which is great for me because I use that a lot. A lot of group functions, right? So add IPs to a group, remove IPs from a group, claim reward, get claimable reward, and collecting royalties. And also set token URI on the NFT client so you can change your SVG NFT metadata. So yeah. So you're asking, are these registered already, right? So these are not registered as IP, but their revenue is fractionalized on Story. So it's basically paying out to owners of people that invested, or that can invest into these songs, and that IP will be distributed through Story's royalty module. Yeah. Oh, for the buildathon. Oh, okay, even better question. Yes, everyone should be registered for the buildathon. So if you're in this Discord and you're not registered for the buildathon, then I will fight you in real life. So make sure that that's definitely, yeah, you'll be kicked, banned, and also fought in IRL.
And Bruce will bite you where it hurts.
Yes, I will unleash my dogs and you'll be done for. My blind dog will find where you are. So definitely sign up. So next up, we have disallowing AI from training on your IP. This was a incredible video by this young man here, and basically, it just tells you how to disallow AI from training on your IP. So let's go to this guy's Twitter, and yeah, so it starts with a little explanation of pill terms, and by the end of it, we actually dive into code here and give you a whole quick start on how to disallow AI from training on your IP. So again, if you don't want OpenAI stealing your content, you're like, nah, I want control of my data, then you watch this video because it's really helpful. So definitely do that. And this tweet actually got pretty decent engagement, so good for that guy. All right, so next up we have a relatively big announcement on the validator side. We have a new CLI command, or updates to the validator CLI. So it's private key encryption for validators. So let's just read this together. Are your validators private key secure? I don't know, maybe they're not. Our latest blog post breaks down how Story Client v1.2.0 introduces native private key encryption in the validator CLI, making it easy to securely generate, migrate, and manage encrypted keys as part of your validator operations. With the new Story upgrade now available to encrypt validator private keys directly from the CLI, you can generate encrypted keys during setup, migrate existing unencrypted keys, and securely access them when needed without disrupting your current workflow. So yeah, I think this is more like a quality of life improvement to our validator CLI, so that you're not exposing private keys on every command. It's more, it's just better overall. So, and if you have more questions on that, then we can get Tim in here who will answer those. But I don't think any of you in here are validators, but If you're watching this on YouTube, then there you go. Oh, and also a blog is coming out on this soon. So stay tuned for the blog. It'll be on our Twitter. And then, as always, we run through this every single week, so I'll go fast on this. But we have the Real World Assets Build-A-thon coming up on May 20th until June 26th. It's a month-long virtual hackathon exploring IP, AI, and crypto. It's a great opportunity to build some fun stuff. We have a non-technical / creator track. We have an AI agents track, a creator front-end track, IP detection and enforcement track, IP-Fi track, data and search, and then a people's choice as well. And there's $5,000 in bounties up for each of those tracks, along with many other partner projects as well. Now, in Discord, which you're probably seeing now, there is a Build-A-thon chat here. So anything related to the Build-A-thon, let's now start using this chat because, once the Build-A-thon actually starts, we're going to use this chat to coordinate everything. So to ask questions about the tracks, coordinate workshops, etc. So this is the important channel for the Build-A-thon, and I see most of you have already found this. So hip hip hooray. And other than that, that's pretty much it for today. So very, very fast slides because I know we have all sort of seen them. Was nice info. Oh, let's see. Oh, interesting. Let's take a look at what Nishizawa sent. Grok, what exactly does MVP of marketing actually mean and refer to within the... Okay, interesting. So in the context of the screenshot from MVP... Yep. What is marketing? Marketing, nice. Putting it together. I like this. Ooh, this is great too, because now we have some context on PRDs as well. So this is very helpful. Thank you for putting that in the chat, Nishizawa. That's great. It's Build-A-thon 2.0. The most valuable player, yeah. That's very true. Yeah, we should for people that are exploring the first track, we'll send them this actually. This is great. And hopefully they'll have some better context on what to build. Link to sure. Here you go. Boom.
There is one thing. So once the Build-A-thon starts, do we have to re-register again as to which tracks we're submitting for?
No. So once you sign up, you're all good to go. You're already in. And then, when the final submission happens, that's when you'll select your track.
Oh, okay. Got it.
You got punked. Yeah. You did. So now, because we have extra 15 minutes here, does anyone want to use this time to just talk? I mean, you know me, I can always talk about random stuff, but does anyone have any questions related to story, developer questions, or just anything that's on your mind? Or anything cool you've seen on Twitter recently? And if not, I have a fun topic. Okay. I'll go with the fun topic. If anyone wants to jump in, definitely do so. But there was this really cool thing. So as a DevRel / the person who writes the story docs, I found this thing called Entourage Spark the other day, which was actually really, really effing cool for me. It's exactly what sort of my interest lies in. And basically it talks, there's this article that I'll send in the chat here. It's called Your Next User Is Not Human. And basically, this isn't really story related either, but just thought it was interesting. It basically talks about how, developers in the current age, are not, reading docs, right? The main users of documentation and tutorials and examples are AI. And what's happening is it's sort of breaking this like product feedback loop for companies, right? Where in the old days, you would write document like, let's say for a story, right? You would write documentation and then developers would read your docs and then they would integrate, right? And they would try to build their own solution. And if something broke, if something didn't go well, they would open a GitHub issue. They would ask on Stack Overflow. And then once that happened, the team could see that feedback, right? Because it's asking in public, and either other developers could answer and fix the issue, or the team could sort of read that feedback and fix their product. And so it created this sort of feedback loop where you would write docs, developers integrate, a problem arises, problem gets solved either by other developers or the team, and then people keep integrating, and it's like this self-fulfilling prophecy of product working. But nowadays, it's actually completely changing. And Stack Overflow, I actually think I saw a stat in this article where Stack Overflow's traffic dropped 35% in the last 2 years, which is insane. And when I was in college, and I'm sure many of you have a similar experience, when I was in college, and I, looked at a homework assignment or, I was building my own side project, I was on Stack Overflow constantly. And I literally remember like spending hours a day debugging a simple line of code in Stack Overflow or GitHub issues or whatever. And now all you do is ask AI to fix it, and it'll do that, right? But AI doesn't just immediately like fix it, right? It sort of hallucinates for a second, and it'll either find the solution for you. Maybe it's easy, or maybe it won't, right? And it'll sort of hallucinate for a couple like minutes. And sometimes what it'll do is it'll find the solution, but sometimes it won't, and it'll just sort of change your product because it can't find the solution. And it'll change your product in a way that it will eventually get to a solution, but maybe it's in a different way. And even worse, when it does this, it's not projecting that feedback anywhere, right? It's not projecting those errors anywhere. It's not putting them in a GitHub issue. It's not putting them on Stack Overflow. It's just making it so that it's fixing it for you, and then no one else can get that. So other AIs have to start from scratch, and you as a company can't, see that feedback. You can't improve your product. And so it's really breaking this sort of flywheel. And so anyways, this article talks about Entourage Spark, which is this sort of newer shift towards docs that are for AI and for LLMs that are self-fixing and that sort of gather this product feedback for you from AI. And so and this isn't live, by the way, but I thought it was so cool where, let's just look at the diagrams where you see that it creates this sort of memory bubble for each project. So let's say for story, it has this memory bubble where it's reading in docs, it's compiling errors, it's getting certain patterns from different people that use it, different APIs. And so it gets to a point where, let's say you're in VS Code, right? Let's say this is like your VS Code, and right now you talk to Cursor, but in this example, you're talking to Spark. And so you're asking it to integrate, and as you're typing to it, Spark is sort of creating this like memory of like what you're doing, what problems you're running into, and tapping into other AIs that also have had similar problems and other developers who have had similar problems and creating the best solution for you. And then what that's so helpful for is people like Story, right? That these companies that don't have access to that feedback, that product loop. And so Spark sort of compiles that for them, right? So, for the user, it gives them, documentation that's very relevant, examples, maybe different tutorials that are super relevant, and it like matches based on how similar the question is. But for the ecosystem, for the company, it gives you like a dashboard of analytics. So it's sort of forwarding this feedback from LLMs that you're not currently getting to the company. So it's telling you what's your current documentation health. Is it complete? Is it accurate? Is it fresh? How often are we recommending it when people ask a question? What's the analytics, right? How often are we recommending your docs? What's the dev time saved? What's the satisfaction, right? And then intent solutions. So when you ask a question, is it actually solving the error for the user, or are they having to ask a follow-up question that's then solved by something else, right? And so anyways, I just thought this was like the coolest freaking thing ever. and definitely a reflection of like where we're going in terms of building, and how you get sort of feedback from LLMs. So, I think sort of my question for Spark would be, how are they actually tapping into this feedback, and how is ChatGPT not just going to become a better version of this, right? Like, is when you ask Claude in Cursor, is Claude just going to end up becoming this sort of even better feedback loop? But I just really like this sort of dashboard experience. So yeah, just another cool thing. Let me read the chat here. Um, yep, exactly, Robert. It's crazy. It's just the amount of traffic that like Stack Overflow. I think they're pivoting more towards. I think in this article, um, that they're pivoting more towards like enterprise solutions. Um, yeah, their pivot towards enterprise knowledge management shows the recognition of this shift, but also underlines the missed opportunity to lead in the new agent-centric paradigm. Hey, Demi, why are you asking the question without doing tons of unnecessary work yourself before bothering us just to find out we didn't have to? Yep. Yeah. That's one of the huge benefits of ChatGPT and all that no one talks about. You can switch between threads and go back to old problem space with perfect recall, having to educate over and over another colleague. Exactly. Yeah. It's totally agree.
If you ask me, this kind of solution that Entourage is pioneering is basically the natural evolution of things. It's just that I'm not too sure if this is fully blockchain decentralized or if it's like centralized on their servers for processing.
You know what? I totally agree with you that, and that's what I was kind of getting at. It's like this to me seems like the next natural progression of AI, where it sort of combines feedback and works on itself and whatever. I think what they have, sort of a leg up on is creating this like very nice like ecosystem manager. Like from their data, they expose this sort of stuff that I don't think ChatGPT would do. Right? ChatGPT is like the LLM, and then it's up to a company on top of ChatGPT to build this like dashboard. So I think that's what the advantage that Spark has. Um, yeah.
It's kind of interesting, Jacob.
What?
Browsers helped liberate programmers from writing a lot of the same code, because now you just wrote JavaScript and the browser itself app had a ton of knowledge, and it would execute and expand your instructions into an app that the end user used, right?
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to another level up, or to a meta level of the same phenomenon, whereby the prompt is like DNA, the way DNA creates a body, because the substrate is much smarter now. And the substrate now is the LLM. And there have been articles about how the prompt is the new currency. Because if I craft a really good prompt, I can send it to you, and you can put into most of the LLMs, the top tier LLMs, and they will expand it into the same relative functionality. So it actually becomes a summary way to transfer a ton of knowledge and software capability to another human being, because the LLM will expand your prompt, which is a symbolic representation of a full-fledged app or full-fledged implementation. And this is the new level that we're now moving to, because LLMs are to the browser what other things were when it came to expanding small, symbolic, terse representations of applications in the form of a prompt. Hopefully that made sense. I'm not sure.
No. I think I'm following. I mean, if I'm understanding correctly, it's like this almost ties back into story where the prompt itself is valuable, right? Like how can we like and in many ways, like if like you said, if the prompt is the currency, it's valuable. And so how do you, I guess you could register that on story and monetize that.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely something that I expect to happen with story. But what I'm saying is, I can literally, you heard the phrase just add water, right?
No.
Oh, really? Well, there used to be these things you could buy, and if you just added water to them, you get like a chia pet or a certain kind of plant. In other words, all you had to do is take this small symbolic representation, add water, and it became something much larger, more complex. Well, the prompt is now the same thing, the same currency, the same terse symbolic representation. You can send it to someone, and let's say I've got a fantastic prompt that whenever you use it will help you write the best song ever immediately. I can simply send you that tiny little prompt, relatively speaking, and you get a full blown song on your end when you run it through the LLM, because the LLM is the engine of representation, just like and does the same thing for you with a prompt that the browser did with for people who wrote JavaScript to make apps. Is that a little better?
Yeah, no, yeah, that makes sense.
And yeah, that is a fantastic idea and expectation. Story definitely should become the #1 marketplace for prompt sharing and creation. Because right now it sucks. If you're a fantastic prompt creator, you get to make a YouTube video or you get to make a neat little app and someone copies it and you don't get anything. And that's would be wonderful to alter that situation.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, prompts are the most important thing right now because our AIs are still very literal, if you could put it that way. So they don't quite understand exactly how something is supposed to represent something when there's too many variables involved.
Yep. I'm sorry, I'm reading all your comments here. Guys, G has prompts for sale.
I
You always sound to me as the most toughest cowboy on the Wild West. Funny how you have this cutie cat. That's so funny. Yeah, so anyways, thanks for joining me on my Entourage Spark rant. I almost feel like a DevRel for Spark, but definitely curious to see what they're up to, and I hope they work with Story first. They better, or I'm telling them they're shit.
What's with all the threats today?
If they don't work with Story first, I'm out. So.
Did you get some heavy criticism from Bruce this morning?
No, I didn't. Actually, I don't know what he's doing right now, actually. Where is he? I would show him, but I think he's like in the other room just sleeping.
I actually think it's Ramses. He's on another keyboard. See if we can get Ramsey and Boss in the same room. Bruce.
Yeah, he's somewhere else hiding. He's probably super tired.
Smart dog.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to Office Hours today. This was always fun. And as always, we'll have another one next week.
See ya.
See you, everybody. Have a great Thursday, great Friday, and even better weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.